Hey there everybody! So on today's video I want to talk in detail about the select object and sort object commandlets, because these are again very useful sort of out-of-the-box commandlets that come with PowerShell, very commonly used and great for picking out specific data or indeed for sorting that data as the commandlet suggests. Now there's several different examples that I want to work through here, so let's just jump right into it. So first of all, I'm going to be working with a few different commandlets here, and a great one to demonstrate having a sort of huge sort of return and volume of information are the log files. So I'm going to go with get event log, all my events, and what better log to go through than the Windows PowerShell log. So let me just run this. And as you can see, there is quite a lot going on. That's an awful lot of information to come back, and I might need to filter through that. And again, this is in other examples might be that you are working with, again, some sort of database or some sort of spreadsheet or some sort of message queues, events. So one thing that I can do is I can actually select specific sort of properties of this list. And in fact, one thing that I could probably do is if I create a variable here, then there's a couple of ways I can do this. Let me pipe this through to a commandlet called measure. So 912 events were returned just then when I ran that. That'll be a good sort of comparison for you to see. So now if I run the event log again for Windows PowerShell, and this time I'm going to pipe it through to the select object commandlet, and I'm going to choose just the first 100 events. So at that time my information is filtered to be just the last 100. In fact, you can see sort of the times there that indicate that it's the most recent 100. By comparison, I could get the last 100 entries. And this is from several months ago. I guess it depends how long you've got your event logs to be capturing information. So let me do a quick count of this again, and unsurprisingly my count is 100. I have 100 items there. So that's just a very basic example of how you can start filtering out the information. Now let's take another commandlet. Let's take get process. Again, an awful lot of processes here, and on many occasions, I mean, Steam Web Helper, Spotify, SVChast, these are repeated over and over again. Well, perhaps I want to get just unique events to show in my list, and that's where the select object commandlet again becomes very helpful. And we've sort of seen this in a couple of other videos I've used. So if I choose get process and pipe that through to select object and go with the unique parameter, I get a much more streamlined list. And again, if I need to kind of prove that, what I can do is I can pipe get process through to measure. I got 244 processes kind of running at this moment. But with unique, it's just 89. So again, another way to kind of filter that information out. Now, one last example of this is if I use the trusty get service commandlet. I get all my services, and I've kind of alluded to this in a previous video, but again, just to remind everybody, it's by piping this through to select object, I can start choosing which actual properties I want to have. And of course, in another video I talk about get member, where you might want to dig into, look at the various methods and properties of a commandlet. Another way to do that is to just return all the properties so I can see what's there. And if I just copy this little snippet that I've got, I've actually decided I just want to have the name, status, start type, and can stop properties to be displayed. And so now I am sort of editing and customizing the information that I would like to have returned by select object. So let me move away from select object and talk about sort object. And as I always like to do, I'm going to work with an array of football teams. And I've again tried to make it as globally appealing as possible, so hopefully everybody feels that one of their teams is there. So when I run my array, I have all of this information. Well, this is a very simple example of what you can do. By taking my variable, I can actually pipe that through to sort object, and it will by default sort that alphabetically, as you can see here. Now if I wanted to sort it in the opposite direction, there is a descending parameter, and now it starts with Real Madrid, then Nagoya, and works its way back to the letter A, AS Monaco. And I can also sort it by a property, which is more helpful than you would imagine. Let me just bring this through. I will type it in. If I choose one of the properties that I know belongs to the service, and again, you can use get method to get your list of properties so that you know what you can work with in terms of your data. If I put status, what it has now done is sorted it. And again, we've got here all stop services come first, and then all running services. So again, a very kind of quick and basic introduction into working with some of the sort of introductory facets of PowerShell and the way that you can work with them and filter and sort your information. Again, is it groundbreaking? Perhaps not, but it really does help you to very quickly play around with bits of information when you're working on more complex scripts. So I hope you found that useful, and write any questions that you have in the comments below. Thanks.